Hey, what's up everybody? Grant Cooper, and in this video I'm going to talk about how you can massively increase the show up rate for your membership appointments, okay? So one of the most frustrating parts of obviously running a fitness studio is when a lead comes in, the first part is getting them to book the appointment. It's like, man, this person just asked for a free class, or they want to come in and do this trial, but they're not even booking now, right? They gave me their info, now I hear crickets, right? So we're gonna talk about one, how to actually get them booked. And then the second part of that is how to actually get that booked appointment to show up. Okay, now on a monthly basis right now, you're probably thinking, okay, why does this guy know anything about booking appointments? Well, we actually have, we oversee from a high level, literally about 10 to 15,000 membership appointments every single month. Okay, we have about 300 fitness owners in our program right now, Fit Traffic, and on an average month, just to be really conservative, the average is maybe about 40 to 50 appointments per month. Okay, per owner. So 300, 40, 50, you can do the math. So what we do is we really have a very, very good understanding of what is working, what is not working, and that's why today I can share with you exactly what this 4-step process is to increase the show rates so you can see anywhere from like 70 to 90% show up, okay? Because then you know your close rate. So if you have 70 to 90% of people showing up, you're gonna massively increase the revenue for your studio, all right? So let's talk about this 4-step process. And guys, I have these just covered because I don't want you, there's no secret here. I don't want you to just, I want you to just focus on what I'm gonna talk about. That's the only reason. By the end of the video, you're gonna have all 4 of these and you're gonna be able to literally take this and go implement it right away, okay? If you stay till the end, okay? So the first one, let's talk about this though. I have this set up this way. So a lead comes in, okay? I know it's tough to get leads. We'll save that for a separate video, how you can generate more. But let's say you are getting leads, whether it's through Facebook, whether it's through your website. The leads are coming in, right? Name, phone number, email, okay? The single and the first step, the most important part to getting that person to book and show up is this first here, okay? The first touch. All right, now what is the first touch? Well, we call the first touch the first time you're reaching out to this person, okay? How are you reaching out to them? What are you saying when you do reach out to them? That is so massively important, all the way leading back to getting this person to actually come in through the doors physically, right? So the first touch is so important because most people do this completely wrong, okay? They use the wrong mechanism to actually reach out to the person and they say the wrong thing. So there's really, when it comes to the first touch, there's 3 ways that you could reach out to this person, right? So there's phone, like phone call, right? So there's call, there's text, and then there's email, okay? So phone call, text, or email. The by far absolute, without even a doubt, the worst way to ever contact a lead is via email, all right, for obvious reasons. And if it's not so obvious to you, I'll explain it in a second. So email is by far the worst way to contact someone because think about yourself, okay? Email is 1, not personable. 2, the open rates are horrible, okay? If you email a prospect, let's say you get 100 leads, if you email all of them, you might get 20, maybe 30 of them to actually open your email. So you're already completely losing the majority of your leads for opportunities, right? So email, and even if they do open your email, it's not personable. It's gonna be some jargon and consumers are smart, so they know that the emails can be automated now, so it's just another email going to them, and it really doesn't give them a purpose to respond, okay? And you're probably thinking, well, Grant, they requested the info, so they're gonna respond. True, but also not true. Okay, when someone's surfing on Facebook or they find your website, okay, they put their information in and then what do? They go right back to surfing, okay? And your email may come within 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, hopefully. And by the time they've gotten that email, whatever they were feeling, the feeling they had the second they opted in their information has now fizzled away, all right? So there's a very short, small window where you need to capture them the same feeling, whatever that was, that feeling they had when they were putting their information in and saying, I need to make a change. This ad, this message, whatever they're reading about you spoke to them. You need to capture them when they still have that feeling, all right? And you're never gonna do that via email, okay? So email's off the table. Phone call, well, phone call's okay. I mean, it's the most personable way to reach out to them, but a phone call, there's a couple issues. One, it's very unproductive and inefficient for you or for your team to sit there all day and just call, right? So for you, it's a little bit difficult. On the prospect's end, even if you had a freaking call center, even on the prospect's end, it's too intrusive, okay? It's actually too much into their face. So that takes the phone call out of the equation, because you'll find a lot of times people will answer the phone and it's never a good time. They'll be sitting on their couch watching Netflix and they'll say, hey, right now's not a great time. Can I call you back? And what happens? They never call you back. So it's a little too intrusive. The last and by far the absolute best way, if you're not doing this right now, you have to start doing this. The best way to contact for the first touch a lead is by text message. And I'm not talking one of those short code 8-digit body numbers. If you're using those, you have to stop. You're not gonna get any responses. You need to use a text software that allows you to use a true 10-digit phone number. So it looks like you're texting that prospect from your own phone. That's what it has to look like. But we all know it's gonna be really difficult for you to text every single lead coming in, okay? Especially when the single most important, and I want you to listen carefully here, the single most important part of this first touch, we've discussed how you reach out to them, text. The when is so important, the when you reach out, okay? And when I say when you reach out, lead comes in at 12 noon, that lead better have a text message to their phone by 12:05. No later than 5 minutes, okay? If you don't have a first touch to a lead within 5 minutes, your opportunity to get them in the door is almost none, okay? You're cutting your opportunity to get them in the door probably by 50%, all right? Now, so if a lead comes in, they need to be touched within 5 minutes, okay? And by a text message, okay? Grant, how the hell am I supposed to do that? I can't sit by my phone all day and that lead comes in and I text them, and that's where there's text softwares, guys. There's tons out there, okay? It should be a top priority for your business to have a text software like this. So a lead comes in, automatically they're getting the text message. And the other point I wanna make about the first touch, the message itself now, okay? So we discussed the how, which is text. The when is within 5 minutes. Now, what does that message actually say, okay? So the message has to be personable to the prospect. Okay, so what does that message actually say? Well, the message has to be personable, okay? We see all the time, fitness owners, studio owners, they'll have a text going out. They're like, oh, I do this. Someone comes in and from a lead and we text them immediately, and then we look at the message and it says, it'll be like, congrats on redeeming a free trial. Here's a link to schedule yourself, right? Or like, something just so like corporate-y and just so not personable. It's like, thanks for redeeming your trial. Here you go. Come in, here's a scheduling to come in, right? It's so impersonable. So the way that you actually have to have this, as you want the prospect on the other end of the phone to be when they get the message, be like, oh, wow, they sent me a text message, a person, right? So something along the lines of, hey, John, thanks, congrats on getting a free pass to XYZ Fitness. Here's our schedule. When would you like to come by? That's it. That's literally it. When they read that message, they're not gonna think, one, wow, this was automated. Two, they're gonna think, oh, wow, this is a real person on the other end of the phone. I should text them back to be polite, or at least engage, right? So, and guys, like the message is that all the owners in the Fit Traffic program, that we give them, all the templates and everything, they're literally what I'm going to talk about pretty much in here, right? That is very similar to the exact first touch message that everybody's using. It's so personable, it's short, it's quick, and it gets right to the most important part, getting them booked, okay? So let's talk about that next. The first touch is done. Step number 2 is getting this person booked. Okay, step 1, getting that first touch, that's to get their attention and get a response. This is to get them booked, okay? And like I said, for that first touch message, you're doing yourself a massive disservice if you're not including, that first touch has to get right to the point. It has to be like, hey, John, congrats on getting the pass. Here's our schedule. When would you like to come by? Get right to the point. John doesn't need a 21-day PDF on how to lose belly fat or get a six-pack or a YouTube video on the 10 best ways to do, leg workouts. He doesn't need that. John just needs a schedule and just a very simple message on how he can come in. That's it. So when you do that, you're going to get a lot of people responding to your automated first touch message, and they're going to be saying, thanks, Dave. I'd like to come in at 2 on Thursday. Like, people are literally going to be booking from your automated first touch. That's what happens, okay? So let's talk about this, getting them booked. Like I said, the first touch usually will hopefully contain, and once again, we do not, in terms of getting them booked, we do not give them a scheduling link. And now you're probably thinking, well, Grant, why? Because a scheduling link is convenient for you. It's convenient for you. It's not convenient for your prospect. It's not, okay? It is not convenient for your prospect. So what is convenient? Well, having them just simply stay in the text conversation with you. So what all of our owners in the Fit Traffic program do with the template we give them, this first touch message has the text, and then it has an image, a little picture of their schedule. Very simple, just image. You don't make it crazy. You don't have your promos on there. You don't have your website and pictures of people that have gotten results. No, you literally have XYZ Fitness class schedule. Tuesday, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wednesday, 1, 2, 3, 8 a.m. That's it. White background, black text, that's it. Okay? The easiest, you have to think, they're on their cell phone. Okay, they're on their cell phone. They're going to look at this picture and pick a time. It has to be easy, clean, and just simple. Okay? So, have that. They will then pick a time. They'll pick a time from your image and text you back. Thanks, John. Thursday at 4 p.m. Friday at 8 a.m. Whatever they're going to decide. Okay, that's how you're going to get them to commit to an appointment slot. All right? And once again, getting this appointment booked, it's pretty much automated for you when your first touch message contains the schedule. All right? Now, if they don't book from that first schedule, and a lot of times leads will come in and they'll need multiple touches. This is where it's important to have not just one touch, but about 5 or 6 over the course of 5 or 6 days. So when a lead comes in, the first touch message should be 5 minutes after. The next follow-up message should be basically 24 hours after. Hey, John, hey, John, I know you got this pass, but I haven't heard back from you. Did you take a look at the schedule, right? And that's just off the top of my head. Once again, you're not saying, hey, John, it's blank from XYZ Fitness. Wanted to follow up with you about blah, 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 blah. Like, you don't need to make this big thing. Stay personable and short, like you would with a friend or family member. Hey, just wanted to check in. Did you have a chance to look at that schedule yet? ? And that's it. Okay. Now, if they do schedule and you have like an automated series of those follow-ups, obviously make sure to take them out of those automated follow-ups. But if they schedule on the first day, which a lot will, make sure some way they're getting removed. Okay. So get them booked. Once they're booked, they commit to a time. John says he wants to come in at Thursday at 2 p.m. Perfect. You have the appointment. Congratulations. It's booked. You can then, take that information and put it into your own calendar so you do the work or have an employee do the work where you're taking John, his name, his email, his phone number, putting them into your system. You can all do that on the back end. But then the very next, step 3, the most important part after you book the appointment, confirm it immediately. And there's a very specific message you need to use to confirm John's appointment. Once again, you make it personal. Great, John. I have a spot saved for you on Tuesday at 3 p.m. I'm looking forward to meeting you then. Okay? Short. Okay? The most important part of the sentence I just gave you was, I have a spot saved for you. Okay? So now John, the prospect, Mr. Lead, is looking at that going, oh wow, Sally has that spot saved just for me. It's a psychological thing that makes them feel, one, important, but it also is going to help it's going to help you in that they're going to feel like, they're not going to feel so great if they just blow you off. Okay, you're making a personal connection with this lead. So I have a spot saved for you at blank day, blank time. Looking forward to seeing you then. Okay, so you confirm the appointment. Okay, so you book, you confirm, and then the fourth part of this process, the most important part, I think I've said each part is the most important part, but because it's 4 steps and they all need to be executed, they're all very important. The 4th step, schedule. Should actually have on here, schedule your reminder messages. This says remind. We're gonna say schedule the reminder message, okay? So if you're using a text software, that's why I say schedule it. If John books his appointment for Thursday at 2 p.m., you're going to schedule a reminder message or the day of, okay? So I want you to listen very carefully about the reminder messages. There are 2 types, okay? So I don't think you can see down here, so I'll go over here. So type 1 of the reminder message, let's see. So reminder 1 is night. Sorry, I have bad handwriting. Okay, night before, and 2, day of. Okay, so 2 types of reminder messages. They're pretty self-explanatory. The night before and the day of. That's it. Okay, now, like I said, if John picks an appointment Thursday at 2 p.m., okay, you're obviously going to send him a reminder message the day of. Why? Because 2 p.m. is not super early. You don't need to remind him necessarily the night before. It's more important to remind him the day of. So if they have an appointment, this is the simple rule. If the prospect has an appointment anytime past like 10 a.m., so like 10 a.m. and onward, later in the day, you're gonna send them the day of, okay? The night before comes into play if they have what? If they scheduled an appointment in the morning for the next day. So if John says, if we're texting on Wednesday, and John says, yeah, I would love to come in tomorrow, Thursday, for that 7 or 8 a.m. class. John's not gonna love a text message at, he's not gonna love a text message at 5 a.m. saying, hey, John, looking forward to seeing you later this morning. So it's best to send him a night before, okay? Now, if John's texting you on Wednesday night and it's like, hey, I wanna come in tomorrow, like right away, it's like you don't need a reminder message because you're engaging with them. But if John's talking to you on a Monday and he's like, oh, I'd like to come in Thursday at 8 a.m., you would want a reminder message to go out Wednesday night, okay? Because most people, when they do morning classes and work out in the morning, they set things aside, the night before. So when John's setting his things aside the night before, after he's eaten dinner, whether it's like 6, 7 o'clock, you're gonna send him a text message, okay? About, around that time and just say, hey, John, looking forward to seeing you tomorrow at 8 a.m., and then the very important part that has to be included in that is a question to him, so you get a response. Okay, a lot of people don't have a question in their reminder message. So add a question so you get a response. It'll give you a bit of a gauge as to, is this person really gonna come in or not? So a good thing to say would be, a reminder message could be, hey, John, looking forward to seeing you tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Do you need our address, or do you know where we're located? And John will text back and say, oh, yes, I absolutely do. Looking forward to seeing you. Or you may hear crickets. And if you hear crickets, it wouldn't be a bad idea to send him another text. Hey, John, did you get my last message? Try to double down. Okay? So the reminders are really important. Now let's talk about the day of. So like I said, the day of is for anyone that schedules an appointment later in the day. You don't want to send them, the night before. You could if you want to double down on the reminder messages. If you feel the person is if you're not getting good responses throughout this process and they're just short answers, they're feeling flaky, double down on the reminders, do one the night before and the day of. But if this person's really engaged throughout the booking process, like, ooh, I'm really excited, I saw your stuff online, I'm really looking forward to coming in, you could probably just do with one reminder, okay? And the day of is anybody past roughly about, like I said before, about 10 a.m. So if they have an 11 a.m. appointment, shoot them a reminder at 9:30 a.m. Later in the day, if they have an appointment at 3, 4, or 5, keep the reminder message about 2 or 3 hours beforehand. Okay, that's what we have found to work best. So this entire process, guys, is what all of the owners in our program, like I said, there's roughly about 300 fitness studios we're working with. This is what they're doing every single time they get a new lead through the doors, like every single time. So there are, like I said, we're overseeing anywhere from, on a low month, 8 to 10,000, on a high month, upwards of 15,000 appointments, through the tech software that we're having them use. But that's where, like I said, to execute this process, you really want to make sure that you have a text system, okay, with a 10-digit phone number. And reach out to me, guys, if you want to know the one that we use. I'd be more than happy to show it to you and walk you through it. Make sure that you're following this process of getting them booked, confirming their appointment, the reminder messages, and this is what will give you a higher show rate. If you're using phone calls and emails right now to try and get people to show up, I'd recommend you stop. You can double down with this stuff. Like if you're using, this whole process with the text system, but then you also want to send them just like emails, that's fine. But email and phone calls should not be your number one source to get people booked and come in. It just shouldn't, okay? And if it is, that's probably why you're struggling with this. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is like if you are kind of implementing something like this, but you're not really still seeing good results, I do have, it kind of sucks, but at the end of the day, I have to be honest with you. If you're literally kind of following something like this with text and you're still not getting results, the process isn't broken, the content is, right? So, all of the texts that are used to get these people, the first touch, the book, the confirm, the reminders, all those messages, down to literally the word, all of those matter so much. It's literally psychological, what the messages say, how long are they, what should they say, what shouldn't they say, what words should I use, what words shouldn't I use. Like those are the things that do matter. So if you are running this and you're struggling with it, feel free to reach out to me and we can help you guys set up some better messages, right, and write better copy. But like I said, I just wanted to really walk through the 4-step process all the owners are using in our program. It will probably help you guys and really give you some insight as to like what an operation looks like to just simply get people to show up, right? Now, most of this can be automated, but at the end of the day, most people just have a lead come in and then they kind of have just like a whole bunch of garbage and they don't really have a set process. Like you need a set process to get leads in the door. You need a set process to get them to book, right? And then you need a set process for getting them to actually show up. It's a 3-step process. Getting them to opt in, getting them just to book an appointment and answer you, and then getting them to actually show up. So that's kind of what I've showed you here. I know a lot of you guys struggle with getting leads. That'll be for a separate video. But I hope you've enjoyed this video and I hope you've gotten a lot of value for it. Go implement this, report back. I hope to hear from you guys and let me know what results you see implementing something like this. So thanks for joining me and have an awesome day.